Hi, Joe. So I just wanted to hop on here for anybody who reaches any of my pages from here forward. I know the music is getting better slowly, progressively. And so I just wanted to take a moment to kind of like let y'all know about me and just like the journey. So I kind of got into like, honestly, like rap music became like my favorite thing at like 12. I was like really in love with like getting on YouTube and had like the really old headphones, and I would just like sit in my uncle's room, and it was like Logic at the beginning, Nicki Minaj, like Mac Miller when he was on his way up, like those three people. And I would sit there and I would try to like recite their lyrics and like learn every lyric to the song. And so that happened, and it kind of furthered as I aged and I fell more and more into rap and just started discovering more artists like Drake or Kodak, Russ, things like that. I would do the same thing every single time. Like, it made me feel cool to like know all their lyrics to their songs. And even though I was never performing it for anybody, but just for me, like while I was listening to it and things like that, I was like, nah, like I feel powerful. I feel something whenever I'm like reciting their words. And that been for a really long time until probably around like 15, where I was like, you know what, like I love music like so much, like I wonder if I could do it myself. And I started doing like poetry, really terrible, and it was like really just trying to rhyme, things like that. But I'll just do it in like my notepad on my phone and things like that. And I wasn't like obsessed. I was still like really obsessed with like learning lyrics, but I wasn't like too obsessed with poetry because I wasn't that great at it. And this turned into a moment where like one of my friends at the time had like written a rap and it sounded dope, and I was like, bro, like I want to do that. And I remember going home that day and like almost like his flow, like I tried to rewrite it myself, and I did, and I was like so excited because I felt cool, I felt good, I felt like I did something cool. I remember like showing my mom and I read it out, and it was like super dark and super weird, and they were kind of like, yeah, and it shut me down for a little bit. And so that was like high school age, you know. And so between then, like I was kind of always like wanting to do music. There was always this want to do music, but I was always scared. I was scared I wasn't good enough. I was scared about like what other people would think of me. I was scared of like trying to be something I'm not. You know, I was scared of a bunch of different things. So for a lot of that period, for like 5 years, from like 15 to 20, all I did was think about it. I started getting into freestyling a little bit, and I had like old voice memos I would do, or times where it was just like really on my head and I really wanted to try. And you know, I would record those and things like that, but I never went any further than that, just like freestyling and stuff. So as I aged, as things progressed, I ended up getting into this job where these two guys I work with made music, and I was like, bro, what, that's so cool. They got me like the hacked like FL Studio, and I was like on there. I never made beats with it though. I never did anything. He gave me the hacked FL Studio and I never did anything because I was still struggling inside with like being scared of making music. And fast forward like a year or two after that, one of my other buddies had bought FL Studio, but he never used it, and I lost the cracked version. And finally I was at a time I'd gone through enough like mental pressure of like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, all the way up to like 21 or 22. And finally something in me just switched, and I was like, you know what, I'm tired of fucking thinking about it. I'm tired of like dreaming about it. Like, nah, I want to do it. You know, even if I suck at it, even if it fails, like, I want to pursue this. And so I did. I asked my buddy. He gave me the free FL. And in the between that whole time, I'd been like practicing freestyles and things like that, but it just wasn't going anywhere. You know, I wasn't evolving in my head. And I got the FL and I started to learn like practicing with beats, and I was like super stoked, but super depressed at the same time because I was like, dude, it's gonna take me 13 years to like figure this out. And you know, I just kept going down the journey, and throughout that, as I was making beats, I was starting to like freestyle again a lot more, doing recording, a little bit more content, like all my earlier TikTok posts were of me in that moment. And finally I'd gone enough time with like making beats and freestyling, I was like, no dude, like I want a song. And I'd put up songs on like SoundCloud prior, like just like free YouTube beats, so I couldn't make any money off of it, but I was like, what's the point of doing this journey if I can't make this anything? You know, I can't live off YouTube beats for free. I can't do anything with those because copyright. And so eventually one time after a vacation, I had made this beat, and I was like, I really liked it. I was showing all my friends. We were like grooving to it on vacation, and I was like, nah, like I'm gonna go home and make a song to this. This is gonna be my first song ever, and that song was Weight of the World. And since that day, man, you know, I have just been absolutely grinding with figuring out my sound and who I am as an artist. And, you know, I still have so much way to go. That was a year ago. That was last May. And, you know, it's 2026, so that's 2025. And, yeah, I know that was, like, really, like, roundabout, but that's kind of, like, just been the music journey overall. But, yeah, like, I don't know, something deep inside has just always called me to it. And, you know, I spent a lot of days, and still spend a lot of days sucking at it and learning and refining and crafting. And I'm finally getting to a point where, okay, like my voice is developing, my music, my sound is developing, everything like that. I don't have like a big fan base. I'm not like the best marketer in the world. I don't have like this crazy branding, but, you know, I'm developing. And so, yeah, I just wanted to kind of make this post to be like, yo, if you're on my page and you like my music, this has like been my process. And yeah, you know, I'm just gonna keep growing and keep trying to be real and honest. Like, again, I haven't even fully discovered like the type of music that wants to come out of me, but I'm discovering it more and more. And a lot of it is like hopeful and motivational. And it's like all the key things that, like, whenever I was a kid and I was addicted to those lyrics and they made me feel strong, like that's the same thing like I'm ending up creating. Most of the time, not every time. I definitely have some flops, but so yeah, you know, again, if you're here, welcome to the channel. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for being a part of the journey. And yeah, really just trying to make this cool place, you know, a cool immersive world that is my music. So